Usually I start with hello in TV land. But this week we're going to start with hello there. So hello everyone, bonsoir à tout le monde. Habituellement je commence avec hello in TV land, mais étant donné que cette semaine nous allons parler de notre ami Obi-Wan, je commence avec hello there. You must do what you feel is right, of course. And that is starting with my little coffee. Et ça c'est commencé avec mon petit café, hein? Alors ouais. Alors bonsoir, bonsoir. Alors mes potes, hein? Bonsoir les potes. Hello my pots. So this week at the Vintage Kids, we're going to talk about what we were supposed to talk about last week. Donc ce soir, nous allons parler de ce que nous devions parler la semaine dernière. Mais la semaine dernière, j'étais pas là, hein? J'étais en dehors de la ville. Hein? So last week, I was out of the city. So I was unable to do this podcast, sadly. I thought about doing it where I was, but I said to myself, let's skip a week. Let's not do something weird and messy. So we're doing it this week. And don't worry, I'm not about to stop this. Everything is going as planned. Donc c'est ça, ne vous inquiétez pas, c'est pas parce que la semaine dernière il n'y a pas eu de Vintage Kids que ça va arrêter, au contraire. Joe, how do you do my friend? Donc ça va pas arrêter, ne vous inquiétez pas, nous avons encore des centaines de sujets à parler. Don't worry, we have tons of other subjects to talk about. Sadly for you guys, I'm here to stay. Yeah. So, this week we're going to talk about the Kenobi finale. Kenobi finale. The episode 6. La 6e épisode de la série Kenobi. Like I said, I was supposed to do this last week. I know I'm a bit late. Some of you guys are more into the... I'm all good, man. Look how good I am. This is a happy face. So I know that most of you guys are probably not into Kenobi anymore because it's been a few weeks. But we're all into this Stranger Things finale thing. If you guys are Stranger Things fans, je sais que pour la plupart des gens ne sont plus nécessairement sur Kenobi. On est comme sur la fin et on a tout écouté Stranger Things puis on a capoté. Welcome back. I'm really happy to see you guys. As usual, I just want you guys to know that I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this not for the views. I'm not doing this for the like. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. Sorry about that. Donc, je fais pas ça pour les likes, les ci, les ça, puis avoir plein de choses. Je fais ça pour m'amuser. Love the show. Hey, good, man. Let's have some fun. I mean, we are used to see each other at least once a week with the Kurt thing, with the MMC, and it's always fun, but I think that we can do something that we can all have fun and share, all of us, the knowledge that we have on what we love, which is Star Wars, which is collecting, which is all geeky stuff. Donc c'est ça, on a plein de sujets encore qu'on va pouvoir traiter sur The Vintage Kids. On va s'amuser, le trip c'est de se revoir à toutes les semaines, puis de passer une heure ensemble et de s'amuser en riant, en se comptant des affaires, puis still have season 4. Oh, so I won't talk about that. I won't talk about when everyone dies. No, no, don't worry about that. No spoilers. So this week, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through my notes that I have here on the finale So I'm going to talk about the way, once again, I saw the show, from my point of view, from a certain point of view. Donc, which is from a movie maker guy, someone that has been working in the movie industry. Well, not big movies, but you know, I studied in communication, in marketing, in movies, whatever. Another episode, I'll talk more about myself. But so this is not going to be an analysis of the acting necessarily, but and blast some people. It's really from my point of view. So what I've enjoyed, what I thought was not so good, was good, and I'll have to keep in mind that I'm trying to do this both in French and in English as usual. Donc je fais toujours de mon mieux pour que ça soit en anglais et en français. Et donc ce que je disais, what I was saying, c'est que je vais présenter un peu épisode 6, la finale, un peu de mon point de vue personnel, donc qui est un point de vue d'un gars de cinéma, un gars qui a fait du cinéma pas mal depuis les 30 quelques dernières années, et qui est un malade de cinéma qui analyse tout, malheureusement, beaucoup trop souvent. Okay, so if during this you have any questions, you have any comments you want, or if I'm wrong about something, go ahead, let me know. Once again, I'm not a specialist, I'm not a professional, this is simply my point of view, and I don't have all the answers, and my point of view might not be the good one, the right one. So I'm always open to listen to every people's point of view. Donc, encore une fois, je ne suis pas un spécialiste, je ne suis pas un professionnel. Ceci est seulement mon opinion personnelle avec les connaissances que j'ai. Et durant le podcast, si vous avez des questions ou si vous voulez rajouter des commentaires, hey Sam! Hello there! Gênez-vous pas, vous pouvez me poser des questions, vous pouvez me dire, hey Phil, t'es dans le champ, c'est pas ça qui est arrivé. Obi-Wan, il n'y avait pas des bas bleus, il y avait des bas bleus gris, mettons. Pourquoi pas? Prendre un autre petit shot de Boba Fett, là. Ah, Bounty Hunter brain juice. Okay, so let's start because this is a big show. And I've got like this page and this page full of notes. I'm not going to read all this. No, I'm going to, it's just to help me out to remember everything that I want to say. So, if you guys are watching this not live, you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, on Yoda's Workshop page. Si vous êtes en train d'écouter ça, pas en live, je vous invite à aller écouter épisode... je sais même plus on est rendu à quel épisode, mais le dernier Vintage Kids, où est-ce que j'ai fait un peu l'analyse des 5 premiers épisodes. So if you're not watching this live, I invite you to go watch the last Vintage Kids episode, which was the first 5 episodes that I've talked about. So I'm going to do the same with episode 6 right now. And of course, if you haven't watched Obi-Wan's finale, well, I invite you to put on the Stormtrooper helmet and open up some music and just watch me like, you know what I mean. Okay, so let's start. So at the beginning of the episode, we have Reva, our friend Reva, that sadly got so many stupid comments, just like Rose did, and yeah, I'm not gonna go into this, but for me, it seems like this kind of hatred, j'ai l'impression que cette espèce de méchanceté qui est faite envers les personnages dans Star Wars de par le fandom, je suis en train de me demander si c'est pas rendu une business pour avoir des likes et des views. I'm starting to wonder if this hatred towards new characters in Star Wars movie or TV show are not just a way for getting more likes and hits on some users page, because like, oh my god, did you really say that? See, ouch, good. Anyway, okay, so we've got Reva that returns on Tatooine, and guess what? She's not dead. that's my first. Yeah, me. Yeah, you're totally right about that. Um, she's not dead, so this is something new that we have in the Star Wars universe. At first, c'est quelque chose qui est nouveau maintenant dans l'univers de Star Wars. Oh, and by the way, I've put up my Tatooine backdrop that I purchased a few days ago, so we can be at Homestead. Trolls, yeah, exactly. That's the right word. Some of the Star Wars universe, healthcare. That's it. That must be it, man. Now the most of the Jedi's and the Sith got life insurance or something. But no, we've started with seeing this with the return of Palpatine, but it was okay because it could be like it's a clone. But now we know that there's Jedi healing that we've already saw in some of the books back in the days. I don't remember if it's Barriss that heal, but I've read one of the books that introduce Star Wars healing, because there's a healer in this book. I don't remember which Jedi it is. Anyway, donc ils ont comme introduit avec épisode 9 le retour comme yes, Darth Maul was first, but yeah, you're right. You're right. In fact, Darth Maul was first. You're totally right. I forgot about him. You're totally right. And I mean, it's you can explain it like, yeah, okay, he survived because of his hate through the dark side. Yeah, you're totally right. I forgot about him. Donc c'est vrai, j'avais complètement oublié. Dans le fond, c'est Darth Maul le premier qui survit à se faire tuer dans Star Wars. And then we've got Rey that saves Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. And now in this show, well, we've got Boba Fett that came out of the Sarlacc, but that's different. But now we know that even if you get stabbed by a lightsaber, the Grand Inquisitor was explained by the fact that he got two stomachs. This species have two stomachs. Donc le premier qu'on a vu dans le show, c'est le Grand Inquisitor qui s'est fait stabber par Reva, mais ça a été expliqué qu'ils ont deux estomacs. Ooh! So that's okay. I was like, okay, you've got a sort of scientific explanation. Donc t'as comme une genre d'explication scientifique, mais ouais. Mais là, après, t'as Reva qui se fait stabber. Puis là, si j'ai bien compris, une deuxième fois par Vader. So if I understand correctly, she gets stabbed for a second time by Vader, and she survives. And like just by putting a scarf. And a lot of people explain this by the fact that when you're a Sith, you get your energy and you get your drive through pain, like Vader does when he gets his stuff pinned into him and stuff. Donc, les gens expliquent souvent maintenant que les Sith réussissent à aller chercher leur énergie puis leur force à travers la douleur, tu sais. Yeah, that's it. She got stabbed as a kid too. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Perhaps she already got some tech in. Sam, I need you every week, man. You're totally right. Perhaps that's another one that we saw survive in Boba Fett is Fennec Shand. Yeah, totally right. Perhaps she got some Fennec thing when she became an Inquisitor. That's a good explanation there. Okay, I'm gonna go on because I'm only at the first line. Yeah, it's a good thinking, man. That's pretty good. I really need you every week, Sam. Okay. So she's not dead. She goes on Tatooine and she asks about where's Owen, and they brought back this like asshole of a boss that Obi-Wan was working for. So you see this guy back again, and she like would use the Force and throw water on the floor, which is a terrible thing on Tatooine because you know that how much water is important. Donc, Reba arrive, puis là, on voit le boss d'Obi-Wan qui était comme au début, puis qui était vraiment... this is how you get a part two. Two parts episode. You're totally right. Yeah, you're totally right. So after that, she asked about Owen. You got this amazing, great shot, space shot that is a kind of a homage to the first shot that we have in A New Hope, with the destroyer coming through the screen. But this time the camera is not underneath; it's on top of the destroyer. So I think it was really, really well thought. It was supposed to be there. Donc la première shot qu'on voit dans l'espace, c'est le vaisseau qui est en train de se sauver, puis on a comme un hommage à la première shot de A New Hope. Sauf que là, la caméra est pas en dessous, mais elle est dessus, au-dessus du Star Destroyer. The first thing that I thought when I saw that they were following the ship with every survivor there, I had like a... it really feels like Episode 8. I mean, the total... I'm not getting there. I'm not going into Episode 8. But, I mean, it really felt the same. Like, this huge ship is firing at this little ship. Choo, 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 choo. What are we going to do? I don't know. But which is not a bad thing, because in this episode, it's not like the complete show. It was like just the fact that we're using the same idea as Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Donc c'est ça, j'ai vu tout de suite, moi j'ai eu l'impression de voir une scène d'Épisode 8, The Last Jedi, quand on a vu comme le gros vaisseau qui court après le petit vaisseau rempli de monde, tu sais. Là, évidemment, on réalise que ils pourront pas survivre, un peu comme justement dans l'épisode 8. Les autres vaisseaux ont explosé, mais là, il y en a juste un. We realize that they have no chance to survive. So Obi-Wan says, I'm going to do something about it. I know that he wants me. Let's take this chance. I'm going to leave, and perhaps he's going to follow me, and you'll be okay. And that's exactly what happened. But once again, there's an issue with this for me. In the storyline point of view. Encore une fois, Obi-Wan dit, ben moi je vais m'en aller, puis là, ben le gros vaisseau va me suivre parce que Vader veut moi, il veut pas avoir nécessairement vous autres. Mais là, je vois il y a un problème encore une fois au niveau du scénario. Here's the issue. Where are the TIE fighters? Where are the other ships? I mean, Vader got his Imperial shuttle inside this Star Destroyer, but that's the only ship that they have. How come the Grand Inquisitor just don't use his personal ship and go destroy the shit out of the little ship? But that's okay. I totally understand. It would be, once again, it's not a question of wishful thinking. It's like, there's an issue there, and in the storyline, in the story. But I totally understand that we cannot give an explanation for everything. Donc, moi j'ai vu comment ça se fait que il envoie pas un TIE Fighter, pourquoi il envoie pas d'autres vaisseaux. Yeah, he wants Obi-Wan alive, but I mean, once he's out of the ship, the Grand Inquisitor even says, we don't have to follow this guy. Let's kill them. They are all there, so let's kill the ship. And we don't really understand what's going on after that. Well, we know that Leia survives. On sait que Leia survit, on la revoit à la fin. Fait que on sait que même s'ils ont suivi le ship, they did not destroy that ship. And the funny thing is also that the fact that Vader leaves the Star Destroyer in his Imperial shuttle, this huge ship is available to destroy or follow the other one. But once again, story-wise. Okay, let's move on. So once Obi-Wan decides, he realizes that he has to leave. Leia's really not happy about that. But before that, we see that Leia's really not happy about that. They did something good. They made it obvious that she's good with people. She's got a good heart. She takes care of others in the ship. Donc, c'est quelque chose que j'ai trouvé intéressant qu'ils ont fait un peu pour renforcer le personnage de Leia, même à 10 ans, even at 10 years old. Elle prend soin des gens alentour d'elle. Elle essaie de leur remonter le moral. Puis elle-même, elle vient dire à Obi-Wan, they're afraid. Even if it feels like she doesn't say, I'm afraid, they are afraid. She's probably afraid, but she doesn't show it. She's strong. Donc, c'est intéressant de voir que tout de suite au début, encore là, à 10 ans, elle est faite forte, tu sais. Ça, c'est bien. And then we have I'm just going to say something here. For this episode, which is the thing that they did that is pretty cool, is that they did the same thing as they do in the movies. We go from one place to another, one place to another, one place to another. So we have two different stories that are going forward. And that's even more obvious when later on when there's the battle. There's two battles going on at the same time, and all the Star Wars movies are made like this. Donc, c'est intéressant de voir que pour cet épisode-là, c'était évident qu'ils ont fait pareil comme les films. Il y a deux histoires qui se passent en même temps et on jump de un à l'autre. They developed a character. Yeah, they did. And the actress Rose. Yeah, and not Rose from Episode 8. I'm sorry, that was too easy. By the way, I have nothing to say bad about Rose. The only I said I won't talk about Episode 8, but I mean the casino plot storyline. Okay. Okay, anyway, back to Kenobi. Put Episode 8 away. Shoot me if I talk more about Episode 8, okay, man? He's gonna miss. Okay, so we go back to Tatooine, and we see that Owen is getting more and more like the Owen that we know in Episode 4. I'm stuck with Episode 8 now. Yeah, you will. Don't tell Kirk. We can really see that they've worked very hard to bring the old Owen that we know to the screen, but younger. But you know that we're getting there, and I think they did a really good job with this. We go back. I just want to, because I've got notes. I'm sorry. I'm going to sound like I'm moving everywhere, but I'm trying to put it in order of what we saw in the show. Then we go back to Obi-Wan that leaves. On s'en va après ça vers Obi-Wan qui est dans le vaisseau puis qui s'en va. And once again, they have to bring back this funny, humoristic clown thing. Once again, I have nothing wrong to say about the actor. Once again, I'm saying that this fake Jedi guy, for me, it doesn't work. They're trying to bring the humor through him. Like, let's have some little fun. I mean, C-3PO was way better, or even R2. So once again, I'm not saying that the Marvel guy that plays the Jedi is a bad actor. Not at all. He makes wonderful other characters, but I'm saying that this character, this fake Jedi, that brings the ha ha ha, for me, it's not working. It's even throwing me off of the thing. It's like, not again. Donc, on ramène l'humoriste qui fait encore de l'humour un petit peu mal placé. Puis encore là, comme je dis, j'ai rien à dire de méchant contre l'acteur. L'acteur a rien. C'est vraiment une question de création du personnage qui ne fit pas. Ça aurait pu être n'importe quel autre acteur. It could have been any other actor. It's the fact that, for me, once again, this is my personal opinion. It's forced. Oui. Encore là, even though, man, even perhaps Jar Jar might have been even better because Jar Jar like was a new species. Tu sais, Jar Jar c'est une nouvelle race. Lui, c'est comme un vendeur de chars qui est pas vrai là. Tu sais, he's like a car salesman that tries to make things funny, but the thing is that this show is not a comedy at all. And I don't think that there's necessary some place to put some humor, like slapstick humor. Anyway, once again, my personal opinion. Donc, on a ramené notre ami. The thing that they did with, this time with Beru, with Aunt Beru, they did this Disney modification, which is not bad. We only saw Beru in episode 4. She was like very old and making some food, and I'm making some food, and here's some blue milk. She looked more like a grandma back in episode 4, and episode 3 and episode 2 and 3, she did not have much to say. But this time they gave her a nice twist. Yeah, exactly. Like kind of a badass, but which is good because it gives us a better idea of who she is, who she could have been, or who she was. Donc, it makes me feel like they are, well, the Disney company, since they've purchased Lucas film, they're trying to put some powerful female characters. Donc, depuis que Disney a acheté Lucasfilm, ils essaient vraiment de mettre des personnages féminins, donc des rôles de femmes fortes, tu sais, puis c'est correct, j'ai aucun problème avec ça. I have no problem with that, which is a very good thing. And I think that's what they tried to do, because they probably asked themselves, ils se sont probablement demandé, what are we going to do with Beru? Like, she doesn't have any, she doesn't have, I don't know how to say it in English, deepness. En français, on dit de profondeur. In French, we say profondeur, like there's not enough information about this character. And to give her that kind of strength is pretty cool. And later on, I'm going to talk about it later on, but you can see that it's not necessarily only Owen that leads the show. And that's a good thing to see. Never saw a female stormtrooper or Imperial officer before Kenobi. Yeah, you're totally right. Well, we did. Well, yeah, we did in episode 7, 8, 9. But us, did we see a female? No, we did not. We did not. It really started with Disney once again. Anyway. Okay, so let's move on. So they did a little twist with Beru. And then when Obi-Wan leaves, quand Obi-Wan s'en va du vaisseau, we're back with Obi-Wan and Leia. He gives the holster. Yeah, Phasma. Yeah, you're totally right, Phasma. But Phasma was in episode 7. Once again, it's Disney. It seems normal. Yeah, but they could have done so much more with Phasma. But that's another story. So we're back with Obi-Wan and Leia. Leia's pretty sad about him leaving, and the way that Obi-Wan tries to calm her down or reassure her. it's by giving her something. It's like, here's a present. Here's something you can use and play with. And he gives the ulster from the girl that I totally forgot from the girlfriend of the Mandalorian in Game of Thrones. Donc, on retourne avec Obi-Wan puis Leia, puis là, pour la rassurer, elle lui donne, Obi-Wan lui donne un cadeau, puis c'est le holster pour mettre le gun dedans de la fille. Et tu sais, c'est comme genre, ok, gars, je vais te donner un petit cadeau, là, puis tout va être correct, puis là, bon, ça la calme, puis tout ça, puis ça fait un petit peu très childish, là. Puis là, il fait le point de... C'est pas mauvais, once again. I'm saying it's like the way you can talk with children, like, I'm gonna give you a little something now, so shut the fuck up, you know? Sorry about the fuck. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's like on lui donne un cadeau pis tout ça, tu sais, pis c'est correct parce que l'autre affaire qui est intéressant, c'est que aussi ça donne une représentation de Ben à Leia. Donc, what I'm saying in French is the thing that is good in there is that with the holster, she can now think about the girl that used to have it, but she'll always remember that it's a gift from Obi-Wan. So this is something that will stay with her for a long time. She got something in her hand that will make her think about this major event that happened in her life. Donc, l'image du holster pour elle va rester parce qu'elle va l'avoir entre les mains. Ça va représenter toutes les aventures qu'elle aurait eues avec Obi-Wan quand elle l'a rencontré, puis tout ce qui est arrivé avec elle. Donc, ça, c'est une affaire que je trouvais intéressant. OK. Ensuite, on voit Obi-Wan qui est en train de méditer encore une fois et qui parle avec Qui-Gon. Il essaye de rejoindre Qui-Gon. So we've got Obi-Wan that is alone, holding his lightsaber, and he tries to talk to Qui-Gon. And there's a very important sentence that is used by Obi-Wan in this part of the show. Il y a une phrase que Obi-Wan dit qui est extrêmement importante, que je trouve, en tout cas, par rapport à ce show-là. He says to Qui-Gon, he has to die, he dies or I do. So, en français, il dit, dans le fond, c'est aujourd'hui que ça se passe. It's today that's going to happen. Il va mourir ou je vais mourir. So, you have to keep in mind that he's not talking about Vader. He's talking about Anakin. Now that he knows that Anakin's still alive, he still sees Vader as Anakin. He doesn't see only the dark guy that's in front of him. He sees the kid that he trained. He sees Anakin inside the suit. He can feel Anakin inside the suit. So he really says, he dies or I do. So that's something very deep that later on we'll understand even more. Okay. Okay. Afterwards, he talks with this Roken guy. Roken, I think that's his name. Après, il parle avec Roken, le gars qui est dans le vaisseau et qui s'occupe un peu des réfugiés, the guys that take care of refugees and that stays in the ship. And I'm wondering if they are not preparing us to have more of this guy. Je pense qu'ils sont en train de préparer le personnage parce que Obi-Wan prend le temps de dire il n'y a pas beaucoup de monde comme toi, t'es vraiment cool, t'es vraiment bon, les gens te suivent, les gens vont te suivre, ils vont te croire, pis tout ça. Et le gars il dit je fais juste commencer. So the guy, so Obi-Wan says to this guy, we really need a leader like you, more people like you, so keep on doing what you're doing, helping out. And he says, don't worry, it's only the beginning, like I'm only starting what I'm doing. So I'm pretty sure this guy will be back in either Andor or even in later on in well, yeah, perhaps, but he would be pretty old. But he could be back in Ahsoka or whatever. He'll be back. I'm pretty sure this guy will be back in the shows, in the next ones. Donc je suis pas mal sûr qu'on va le revoir. He says, I'm just getting started. That's the phrase that he used. Ensuite de ça, ben, ça revient un peu à ce que je disais tantôt. Il y a le grand inquisiteur qui dit hey, faut suivre le vaisseau, puis faut pas suivre juste Obi-Wan. Il se fait comme revirer de bord. Puis ça démontre un peu la hiérarchie, puis tu vois aussi que Vader, il s'en sac bien raide du inquisiteur. It's going to be Obi-2 season. So yeah, perhaps if he's in there's a second season, he'll probably be back. He'll be back. Donc on voit ensuite. I'm sorry, I already said it in French. It's not easy to go from French and English to not forget what I'm saying. So I'm trying to do my best. Now in English, we have this moment where you see that the Inquisitor says to Vader, "Hey, by the way, we should follow this group and not follow only one Jedi." And Vader says, like, shut up, man. Even like hesitate, and you're wondering if this guy is hesitating because he's saying to himself, "What a fucking idiot." And he says, "Kenobi all the way, man." And you see in the background, like this Grand Inquisitor says, "Better shut up." Donc, he was a wasted character too. Yeah, but well, we already know him, so we already know this guy. So I don't think that if you've watched the Clone Wars, not the Clone Wars, what if you watch Rebels, you already know this character. So we did not have to bring necessarily more stuff on him, perhaps in another series, but they needed to put more time on the other ones that we didn't know yet. Anyway, once again, my point of view. What was I say there? I like to watch them. Yeah, well, yeah, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Trust me, I'm not a good translator at all. I consider my English like 70% good, or fair. Anyway, it didn't feel like the same. Yeah, because it didn't look like the same character, but it was. So that's why there's a lot of people that were unhappy with what he looked like at the beginning. It was like, what the hell? They're not doing a very good job to make sure that he looks like this is species. The guy in episode 3, when they introduced this species, he looked pretty more scarier. They did a better job. Yeah. And I mean, they could do so much more in animation, and it's not easy to translate. Even when you go back to Book of Boba Fett, what they did with see, I've got a brain bubble. What's his name? The blue guy. What's his name? What's the name of the blue guy? What they did with the gunslinger. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Cad Bane. What they did with Cad Bane, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh my God, doesn't really look like the one in the cartoons. I mean, how can you make a cartoon look exactly the same in real life? I mean, thank you. Yeah, I see. There's too much information in my head, man. Je pense qu'on a trop d'affaires dans notre tête en même temps. For Star Wars stuff, I mean, wow. Anyway, but that's a problem. There's so much information that I mean, I've already said that before, but my mom already said if you all the knowledge that you have on the geek stuff, like in Star Wars and whatever, all the other stuff, would be in medical stuff, I would be a heart surgeon. My mother told me that when I was, yeah, I'll take the money, but I don't like blood. Yeah, you're totally right. But to make him speak and make him move, I mean, in the cantina, he was just like a background character, so you're just a rubber head. So that's easy to do. And drink some stuff. But Cad Bane, I mean, his face in animation, he's like so, like, you got this personality, like, you know. So not easy, not easy. Anyway, once again, my personal opinion. Okay, let's move on because we're not even at half of this page yet. Um, okay, so Grand Inquisitor is like watching Vader and realize that he better shut up. Uh, and then there's something that I thought was interesting. We go back to Tatooine and Riva shows up, and now like they're getting all excited and they're worried. Donc on se retrouve sur Tatooine et puis là ben tout le monde commence à être énervé parce que Riva elle arrive. Et là il se passe quelque chose d'intéressant. Owen il dit à Luke que c'est les Tusken qui s'en viennent. Puis on sait que c'est pas vrai, c'est pas les Tusken, c'est Riva. Donc c'est un Inquisitor. Donc là la question c'est pourquoi il dit ça à Luke, tu sais, fait que what I just said in French is when Riva shows up, Owen says to Luke, it's the Tusken Raiders, they're coming. So we have to hide and you have to run, you remember. And the funny thing, he says, I am not afraid, which is a nod to what Luke says to Yoda in Empire Strikes Back. And Yoda says, oh, you will be. Oh, you will be. Donc Luke dit, le petit Luke dit, j'ai pas peur, I am not afraid. Et c'est exactement ce que Luke dit à Yoda dans Empire Strikes Back. C'est un petit clin d'œil, encore une fois, à Empire Strikes Back. On retourne après dans l'espace pour voir Vader commencer à courir après Obi-Wan, que Obi-Wan va se parker sur une planète. Et les shots d'espace sont incroyables. Then we go back to space and we've got Vader that follows Obi-Wan on this planet where he go park his brand new car. And the space shots are amazing. I mean, this back in the days, technology was amazing. We didn't get to hear Phil's French Yoda's impression because did you hear Yoda in French? It's terrible, man. Frank Oz, that's the voice. In French, it's like oui, je suis petit Yoda. Oui. It's not good. I mean, the voice of it's they did a better job with Vader in French. Anyway, that's another story. But James, you're totally right. You really have to. I don't know if you guys got this option either on Disney Plus or on your DVD or whatever that you purchased in the U.S. If you have the French Canadian version, because there's the French Canadian version and there's the French from France version, which are not the same audio at all. Different. They're totally different actors that make the voices, and the voice that they did for Vader, I think is pretty good. Anyway, for Yoda, that's another story. Anyway, so the space shots are amazing. And once again, you see the Imperial shuttle come out of the Star Destroyer, and Vader is in his ship. It's funny because I've always thought that the Imperial shuttle was a new ship in Return of the Jedi. Because you all know that they introduced the Imperial shuttle in Return of the Jedi. And they begin the movie with this shot. So you learn or you understand that this is Vader's new ship. And you know that the Emperor also uses this ship. Donc, l'Imperial Shuttle, on l'a juste vu dans Return of the Jedi à l'époque. On l'a jamais vu dans Empire. On l'a jamais vu dans A New Hope. Donc, moi, je pensais que c'était un nouveau vaisseau de Return of the Jedi. C'est comme, oh, ils ont construit un nouveau vaisseau pour les méchants, tu sais. So I thought it was like, oh, this is a cool new ship for the bad guys. And now you see that it existed back before A New Hope. So it's still only Vader and the Emperor that uses it, but back in the Return of the Jedi, they steal one. So anyway, I thought it was like an important ship. Like the Imperial Shuttle was like only for big shots. Donc moi j'ai toujours pensé que l'Imperial Shuttle c'était pour les big shots, mais en réalité c'était aussi utilisé quand ils en ont volé un. Tu sais, c'est de même qu'ils réussissent à se rendre sur Endor. Mais bon. Donc ça m'a surpris. So I was surprised a little bit to see that, well, to learn that the Imperial Shuttle was something that they already uses before Empire Strikes Back. But once again, this is me. This is like, oh, I'm surprised. Did we? No, we did not. We did not see any Imperial Shuttle in Empire Strikes Back. I think that in episode, I think in the 1997 special edition, you can see a transport that leaves Tatooine. That is kind of a bigger Imperial Shuttle, but you don't really, well, even though this is in 1997, but in the original Empire Strikes Back, I don't think that we see any Imperial Shuttle. Anyway, so I was surprised. Where was I? Okay. So we end up with Vader and Obi-Wan on this moon. I presume it's a moon because, well, perhaps it's not necessarily a moon, but there's when Vader arrives and he walks toward Obi-Wan, you can see like a planet or a moon right over his head. Donc, il arrive sur cette espèce de lune. Moi, je pensais bien que c'était une lune, pas nécessairement une planète. Puis il fait noir, fait que and it's dark. So what I thought or what I saw was like, okay, we're on the dark side. This is a night shot, but is it like, because there's no plant, there's only rocks, there's no living thing, no vegetation. Il n'y a pas de végétation, il n'y a pas de il y a rien qui pousse, ça a l'air tout mort. Fait que je me suis dit, ok, on est du côté sombre d'une lune. We're on the dark side of a moon, which is pretty interesting because, like, they meet for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but since the big fight, some sort of Vader is now even more on the dark side. Anakin is even more on the dark side. Anyway, once again, perhaps I think too much on this. There's too much thinking from my part. But the shots on this moon, les shots qu'ils ont fait sur cette planète-là, incroyable, incredible shots. It did not feel at all like I was explaining on the other podcast from 2 weeks ago. The problem that they have when they shoot in this bubble thing. I think it's Joe that gave me the, or Jim. I don't know if Jim Arsenault is here tonight. They shoot every episode in this new dome thing. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a lot of force. And it really felt like they were not in a fake environment. It really looked like a real environment. Hey, Jim, was it you that gave me the name of the dome thing that they use? I forgot the name. Where they shoot every Mando and the volume. Thank you very much. See, I remember that it was you, but I forgot the name. So it did not feel like it was filmed in the volume. It really felt like a real set, a real place. Donc j'ai vraiment trippé parce qu'on n'avait pas l'impression qu'on était en train de filmer comme devant des écrans. Les choses avaient l'air vraies. The rocks felt real. Everything that was around them felt real. And the lighting was good. It was not like, I don't really like... It felt like it was shot in the studio. It did not look at all that it was shot in the studio. So, amazing shot. And I think it was really important because, I mean, that's the most important part of the entire show. So when you bring your big finale, most important part of the show, you really have to put everything you've got to make sure that your environment is credible. I said this episode on Disney Plus. Oh yeah, you're right about the volume. Yeah, you're totally right. I can't wait to see the making of that they'll probably show us on Kenobi. I mean, it's probably going to be amazing. So the shots over there, amazing, and of course the fight. I'm gonna read my notes because I've got so much to say about this. Donc on a pas fini. Did not feel like it was in the volume. And this is the part when we jump from one action sequence to another. Donc c'est cette passe-là qu'on jump d'une passe où c'est que c'est super excitant d'un bord puis l'autre, pareil comme les films de Star Wars. That's the part that really felt like a Star Wars movie because I really felt like I'm watching not a TV show, I'm watching a real Star Wars movie event. So the action, the editing was very good. Going from Tatooine to this planet, back and forth. It was just perfect amount of image, perfect amount of action from one side on one side and going to the other one. J'ai trouvé que le montage était vraiment bien fait, l'action se passait d'un à l'autre, merveilleux. J'ai trouvé que c'était très bien présenté. When they start fighting, you have, of course, this nod when Vader asked Obi-Wan, did you come to destroy me or to kill me? And one thing that is pretty cool is that Obi-Wan already had his lightsaber out. I was supposed to bring Anakin's lightsaber. I got this master replica, the one that is amazing from the one that Luke receives. Anyway, I forgot. So you can see that Obi-Wan is ready for this fight. He knows why he's there. He knows what he has to do, and he says exactly the same thing that he says in Episode 3. I will do what I must. I will do what I must. And he takes this famous pose with the lightsaber, like, yeah, that he did for Grievous and Darth Maul. But Darth Maul not in Episode 1. So there's a lot of clin d'œil, nod. Il y a beaucoup de petits hints là, qui ont fait référence aux anciens films. Tout ça, puis c'est correct. Wins a prize for blocking the show. Tip Shaw wins a prize for blocking? What do you mean, blocking? I don't understand what you mean, Sam. Anyway, right, explain it to me, because, as you know, my English is not perfect. She won a prize? Wins a prize for blocking this show? I don't know. Okay. So, so the big difference in this fight, la grosse différence qu'il y a entre ce combat-là, comparativement à la première fois qu'on voit Obi-Wan se faire torcher par Vader, the big difference between the first fight that they have when they meet again for the first time is that you can see that Obi-Wan uses the Force to help him fight, just like Yoda did in Episode 2. And like we learned that you don't really fight by yourself. You let the Force fight for you. Donc tu vois vraiment que Obi-Wan laisse la Force l'aider. And it's not a question that he's a lot more stronger than that Vader, because Vader is really a lot more stronger than this. I mean, she did a great job directing these scenes. Yes, you're totally right. You're totally right. I would not be surprised. She will probably win a few things, because this last episode 3 and this episode, amazing stuff. So the big difference is that you can see that Kenobi is using the Force to fight. He let the fight, he let the Force help him fight Vader. Donc, on voit vraiment que Obi-Wan se laisse guider par la Force. C'est la Force qui l'aide à se battre. C'est pas une question qui est rendue plus fort que Vader, c'est une question que la Force sait exactement quoi faire pour pouvoir combattre Vader. And one thing that is pretty surprising, but we've seen it before, is that Obi-Wan uses the Force not only to protect or defend himself, he also uses to attack, which is not supposed to be. Donc, on voit que là, Obi-Wan n'a pas le choix de commencer à utiliser la Force pour se défendre, pas juste se défendre, mais bien pour attaquer. Et puis il n'a pas le choix. He doesn't have a choice because Vader is so much stronger and he cannot just defend himself against Vader. He has to do more. Donc il va un petit peu en dehors des règles des Jedi. So he goes a little off his way, off the laws of the Jedi, that he's not supposed to use the Force to fight. Well, not to fight, but to attack. But he does. He does use the Force to attack Vader because Vader's way too strong. He cannot just defend himself. He has to put a little more. Yeah, so afterwards, oh yeah, then we go back to Tatooine. Like I said, we jump from one scene to another. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one that saw this, but when Reva shows up in the homestead, she lights up her lightsaber. And it really felt like it was the new lightsaber from Disney that really lights up. That there's no blade that just that is the ones that we used to play with, we used to collect. Like I have a few over there. There's nothing, and the blades come out. Well, the light come out. I don't know if you guys saw this, the few videos that are available in the new shuttle thing, where you can purchase like 3 nights for $1 million. I don't remember. It's crazy prices. When Rey shows up, she has this new lightsaber that the blades come out, and it's really amazing. And I think that Reva got the same thing because it did not look CGI at all. It really felt like a real thing, like the one that I saw in the video with Rey. Donc, je sais pas si c'est le seul qui a vu ça, mais quand Reva ouvre son sabre laser, on voit vraiment comme un sabre qui sort. Ça n'a pas l'air fait à l'ordinateur. Ça ressemble vraiment comme les nouveaux sabres laser que Disney utilise dans le nouveau Disney Shuttle Thing, là, que tu peux aller coucher 3 nuits, machin, pour 10 000 piastres. Donc, je me demande si c'est pas justement un de ces sabres-là qui ont voulu tester avec un blade rouge, perhaps. I might be totally wrong. Je suis peut-être complètement dans le champ par rapport à ça, mais bon. Je me suis dit que ça ressemblait pas à un CGI. Did not look like CGI as we used to see in the last years. Okay. It's funny because when Reva arrives, Beru and Owen, they've got the high ground. And it shows. They start shooting at her, and it looks like they got the upper end. They're not winning, but they can hold the ground, you know. Donc c'est drôle parce que quand Reva arrive, Beru puis Owen, ils ont le high ground. Ils sont au-dessus d'elle puis ils commencent à l'attaquer. So once again, there's a little nod to the high ground. Back to the fight with Vader and Obi-Wan. There's something that I saw. There's a big difference. Also, it's not just the fact that Obi-Wan uses the Force, but it's Obi-Wan that pushes back, not with the Force, but Vader's doing his best, but he keeps on going back. So it looks like Obi-Wan is stronger than Vader. and that's before he throws rocks and stuff. So it was the first time that I saw Vader fighting and leaning back, except for Return of the Jedi. Donc, c'est intéressant de voir que pendant le combat avec Obi-Wan et puis Vader, c'est la première fois qu'on voit Vader qui recule. Il recule sur Obi-Wan parce qu'Obi-Wan, il tape dessus. Puis, il n'y a pas nécessairement l'avantage, mais on dirait vraiment qu'il est en train de le faire reculer constamment. C'est Obi-Wan qui prend l'avance sur lui, qui est pas sur la défensive. Puis, tu vois que Vader, il se défend, lui, comparativement à ce qu'on est habitué de voir. On a juste vu ça après ça dans Return of the Jedi. And once again, there's another nod to the high ground. And it's cool because we see Vader uses the Force for a new kind of thing. When he puts his hand on the floor, on the ground, well, not on the floor, but on the ground, and he makes like an earthquake and everything shatters or everything breaks and Obi-Wan fall in the hole. Well, it's like Vader's taking the high ground. So Anakin, and we have this point of view where for the first time Obi-Wan is looking really from down to Anakin because it's still Anakin. Donc c'est pour la première fois on voit Vader qui utilise comme la force d'une façon différente, qui fait comme un tremblement de terre, puis ça s'effondre, puis Obi-Wan tombe dans le trou, puis là ben, c'est la première fois qu'on voit. Dans le fond c'est comme un fuck you, tu sais, à Obi-Wan qui dit I've got the high grounds now, bitch. Tu sais, fait que tu sais, ça j'ai trouvé ça intéressant. I thought it was a great thing. Okay, so there's one thing that is pretty cool also is that when Obi-Wan is in the hole, he's covered with stuff. Fait que on voit Obi-Wan est complètement couvert, puis avec la force, il tient les roches pour rester en vie. To keep him alive, he uses the force to like get this cave thing with hair, and this is really something that you see in a lot of movies. It's not that short; usually it's longer, but you've got your main characters that end up in a cave, dans une grotte. Donc, tu as un personnage principal qui se ramasse dans une grotte. Et habituellement, quand il est dans la grotte, il est dans la partie où est-ce que c'est le plus misérable. Ça va vraiment pas bien. Mais cette passe-là dans la grotte fait que il y a un ressourcement qui se fait et c'est une renaissance. Let me explain this in English. You can see this in a lot of movies, in a lot of story and books, is when your main character ends up in a cave or underground. Usually it's longer, but that's the part when the character can reinvent himself. He's like he's at his worst low, but he has time to think. He has time to reborn, to recreate himself. And this is exactly what we see here. C'est exactement ce qu'on voit dans cette scène-là. C'est très, très, très symbolique. Donc, on a Obi-Wan, dans le fond, que même Vader pense qu'il est mort. OK, Vader, I won. I'm out of here. But in a very short period of time, you can see that Obi-Wan thinks about, instead of thinking about all the bad stuff that happened to him, he starts to think about what's going on right now and all the good pieces of his life, all the good part of the Force. We could even say like the living Force, like Qui-Gon told him in Episode 1, the first thing that he says to Obi-Wan is, be mindful of the living Force, my young Padawan. And I have a set of skills. No, that's another movie. Donc, c'est exactement ce que Qui-Gon dit. Il faut qu'il soit aware of the living force. Et c'est là que there's a reborn. Obi-Wan reborns. He's out of the hole. He's even stronger. And he's like, oh yeah, you thought I was dead? Look at me now. C'est comme, tu pensais que j'étais mort, man? Watch bien qu'est-ce que je vais... Check bien qu'est-ce que je vais faire, tu sais. Fait que, and he gets behind Vader, and that's the amazing part where when you're a Padawan, you learn to lift rocks, but when you're a master, you can lift thousands of rocks at the same time. And I'm not talking about Ray type of lifting rocks. And he starts throwing these rocks like Palpatine throws these pods in Revenge of the Sith, and it's amazing the shot that we've got when we see Vader receiving all those rocks. He's overwhelmed. Donc les shots que tu commences à voir Obi-Wan lever toutes les roches puis commencer à pitcher ça une en arrière de l'autre. First of all, it's really well made. C'est vraiment bien fait. Mais tu vois que pour la première fois, là, oh, ok, Vader il est déstabilisé. Là. Vader's got like, well, what's going on? This is too much for me. So this is an amazing shot. There's another thing also that I've noticed in this shot. After that he throws all the rocks, he start to fight again with Vader. Il recommence à se battre contre Vader. And there's like a second when you can see that Obi-Wan is holding his lightsaber. I forgot to bring my lightsaber. He doesn't hold his lightsaber like this. Vader is so strong, and Obi-Wan needs so much force to hold him. He holds his lightsaber like this. Like, he holds his lightsaber and not like this. Like, this is even stronger. Like, I cannot put my hands like that. I have to put them like this. And it lasts like a second, but I said, oh, that's a new way to use a one-bladed lightsaber. It's like, I need so much force. I thought that was pretty cool. Donc, c'est ça, on voit Obi-Wan tenir le sabre comme ça et non pas comme ça, parce que c'est tellement dur à retenir Vader. Ça, j'ai trouvé ça vraiment cool. Pour attaquer, se défendre, Vader, ça donne la grotte, c'est bon. L'image de la grotte, c'est bon. Explication d'Owen qui boite. Okay, so we're back to Tatooine, and Owen is fighting with Reva, and of course, I mean, Reva is way much stronger than typical humans, and I think they did a good job. And once again, another nod, but some kind of explanation about, like I was saying, they're trying to do their best to match the Owen that we know from Episode 4. So Reva managed to throw Owen down this passerelle. I don't know how to say in English. And he falls on his knees. Well, on one of his knees, and he's hurt. He's down and he can't get up. And afterwards, in the same episode, you can see that he's having trouble walking. So if you watch Episode 4, Owen that we know, he got a problem walking too, from the same leg. Stronger, but she is still hurt. Yes, you're totally right. So this is probably the reason why they're able to fight her, to resist a little more. So anyway, they took the time to explain why Owen from Episode 4 got a problem walking. Donc, je trouve ça intéressant parce qu'ils ont vraiment pris la peine d'expliquer, qu'ils n'étaient pas obligés de faire, mais d'expliquer pourquoi Owen il boite un peu. On le voit dans l'épisode 4, mais là, on comprend qu'il s'est blessé à ce moment-là. Donc, c'est une blessure qui va le traîner jusqu'à sa mort, jusqu'à temps qu'il passe sur le barbecue. So that was a fun thing. Explication qu'Owen il boite, Reva. Okay. And there's also a change in Reva already before she decides not to kill Luke. She doesn't kill Owen and she doesn't kill Beru. She could have just taken a few seconds more and killed them. But she doesn't. So it's, for me, I saw it as the first sign. I mean, it's normal they would not kill Owen and Beru because they need to be back in episode 4. But at least she could have tried to kill them, but she did not. So it's the first glimpse, the first time that you can see that Reva is starting to like shift out of her dark path. Donc on voit que Reva elle tue pas Owen et Beru. Donc c'est la première fois qu'on voit dans le fond qu'elle commence probablement son changement vers de sortir du côté obscur. Dark side of the Force. OK. Là, ensuite de ça, on voit Luke qui sauve. We can see Luke that runs out of Homestead. And keep in mind that Owen told him that it was the Tusken Raiders. Donc, faut pas oublier que Owen a expliqué à Luke que c'était les Tusken Raiders qui étaient comme, qui savaient comme, c'était le danger qu'il y avait. Mais là, on voit que Luke se sauve, puis dans le background, en arrière de lui, on voit un sable laser rouge. You can see in the background that there's the red lightsaber running after him. And so I was surprised to see that there's no explanation afterwards. He doesn't ask any questions. Perhaps he got a head injury and he doesn't remember. But it surprised me. Ça m'a surpris qu'il n'ait pas posé de questions après Luke, dans le fond, pour dire « Hey, tu m'as dit que c'était les Tusken Raiders, mais j'ai vu qu'il y avait un sabre rouge qui me suivait, un sabre laser. » Maybe he doesn't even know what a lightsaber is. So that might be the right explanation. OK. Image de Vader qui s'est fait lancer des roches, ça c'est très bien. Change d'idée, elle meurt 2 fois, on l'a déjà dit. OK. And back to the Obi-Wan fight. I was surprised to see that for the first time, and I think it's something that I never thought about. When Obi-Wan starts to hit on Darth Vader's chest plate, it's like, oh yeah, there's a big chest plate right there, let's hit it. And he hits it with his lightsaber, but on the other side, on the bottom of his lightsaber, like ting, 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 and he destroys the thing. Donc, j'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant que pour la première fois, il y a quelqu'un qui commence à varger sur le chest plate à Vader. C'était la première fois qu'on voyait ça. Puis il le fait avec le dessous de son sabre laser. Fait que il frappe là-dessus, puis là, tu vois qu'il y a de la misère à respirer après. He starts to having problem breathing after that. So that was the first time that I was surprised to see, oh, that's a good idea. And then Obi-Wan uses a huge rock, throws a huge rock on Vader, and then he managed to hit him on the back with his lightsaber. It's not obvious, but when you take the time to watch it, you can see like there's a big burn scar on his cape, on his back. Donc on voit que Obi-Wan réussit même à donner un coup de sabre dans le dos à Vader, mais ça passe pas à travers. Mais encore là, ça peut expliquer comme quand Luke réussit à le frapper sur son bras dans Empire Strikes Back, because even Luke managed to hit Vader on the shoulder and it doesn't go through. So after that, just play. Okay, and then the famous, the wonderful shot that we have is when Obi-Wan leaps on a rock and managed to hit Vader on the head with the lightsaber, and you can see like all the sparky things that goes off, and you quickly understand that part of the mask is gone. Tu comprends rapidement une fois que tu as vu que Obi-Wan a sacré un coup dans sa face, que le masque, une partie du masque est partie, qui est plus là. Si vous avez écouté Rebels, si vous avez écouté Clone Wars, si vous avez joué à Unleash, Force Unleash, on a déjà vu Vader avec une partie de son masque enlevé. Mais Unleash ne fait pas vraiment partie du canon. So if you've watched the animated series, you know that it's the second time that Vader gets a part of his mask off. And the cool thing is that Ahsoka managed to take the right part of Vader's mask off, and then literally, yeah, I did the same thing, man. And Obi-Wan manages to take his left part off the mask. And a cool thing that you realize afterwards is that both of his friends, two important people, managed to take off half of the mask. And the only one that really takes off the mask at the end is Luke, his son. So, yeah, he offers the other cheek. Good point. So anyway, so that's the thing that is very interesting. It's also really symbolic that both of his friends, most important people, managed to take off each side of his mask, but it's only his son that managed to take his mask totally off. Donc c'est vraiment intéressant, ces deux amis Obi-Wan et puis Ahsoka qui ont réussi à varger dessus puis qui ont enlevé la moitié de masque, mais c'est seulement que lui qui a réussi à enlever le masque au complet. Donc, et là, ce qui est vraiment cool, which is very cool at this point, is like for the last time, you really see Anakin. Anakin is there, and it's like his last show. It's like his last time alive. Well, for a long time. Donc c'est vraiment intéressant parce que c'est la dernière fois en réalité qu'on voit vraiment Anakin. You can see that, and they did something really cool with the lighting. Ils ont fait vraiment quelque chose d'intéressant avec la lumière. C'est que when at first the part of the mask is off, you can see like more of a blue color on his face, which is the lighting of Obi-Wan's lightsaber, but it also represents Anakin, which used to have a blue lightsaber. And he says, I am what... He says, Anakin. Obi-Wan says, Anakin. And I'm not your failure. You didn't kill Anakin. Exactly. So that's amazing. He says, I am what remains. I'm not... he says, oh, Anakin is gone. I am what remains. So he keeps... it's kind of his last Anakin phrase. C'est comme la dernière phrase qu'Anakin dit. Il dit... Anakin est comme plus là. Je suis juste ce qui reste d'Anakin. So he keeps saying that he is still Anakin, but only what's left. And then it shifts to what exactly Sam says. You did not kill Anakin, I did. So it's also, there's two ways to see it. Il y a deux façons de le voir. Il dit dans le fond, Anakin a tué lui-même Anakin. Anakin killed himself. Or Vader killed Anakin. So you can see it in both ways, and both ways are correct in a way, in certain point of view. So I thought that was amazing dialogue. And when c'était vraiment du bon dialogue, bien écrit, well written. And then you have this terrible moment when you can see that Obi-Wan realized that he was happy or surprised to see that Anakin was still alive, but now you realize that Anakin is really dead. He just died again in front of him, but this time for real. And he says, I'm sorry for everything, for all of it. And this means a lot, because you have to keep in mind that Obi-Wan got this terrible pressure on his shoulder for the last 10 years. First of all, he has the impression that he felt, he did a good job with Anakin, but also with all the Jedi because Order 66 happened, and he feels a lot responsible for Order 66. So he says, I'm sorry for everything. So he's not only saying, I'm sorry for you, I'm sorry about everything that happened. Order 66, the fact that the Empire took the lead and all the Jedis are gone. So probably by saying this, it's a way for Obi-Wan to lift some weight off his shoulder and feels a little better. Right? Pour enlever un peu comme de poids sur les épaules à Obi-Wan, qui a tout ce poids-là d'avoir comme pas juste perdu Obi-Wan, pas juste avoir perdu Anakin, mais de savoir ramasser jusqu'à Order 66. Il sent toute cette responsabilité. Puis là, le fait de s'excuser, puis il s'excuse pour tout, ça vient un peu enlever du poids, je pense, sur ses épaules, puis on le voit plus loin que he feels a little bit, he feels better. That's exactly what I was saying. Explique que Ben raconte à Luke. Yeah, so all these phrases also explain why Obi-Wan tells Luke that story that we hear in Episode 4. Donc ça explique aussi pourquoi Obi-Wan explique cette histoire-là à Luke dans Épisode 4. Et que dans Return of the Jedi, il lui dit, hey, mais tu m'as menti, pourquoi tu m'as pas dit que mon père c'était Luke? C'était Vader. Et il dit, ben, je te dis la vérité, mais d'une façon de parler, d'une façon de voir les choses. And he says in Return of the Jedi, why did you lie to me? Well, why didn't you tell me that Vader was my father? And Obi-Wan, I told you the truth in a certain point of view. And this really gives the good explanation about this. We're almost done, guys. Okay. So Anakin killed himself. Enlève un peu de l'odeur, that's what I said. And then Obi-Wan leaves and he says, goodbye, Darth. He doesn't call him Anakin anymore. So he knows that Anakin is gone. And it's also a nod to the fact that Alex Guinness in Episode 4 never calls Darth Vader Darth Vader. He calls him Darth when he talks to him, and he doesn't call him Anakin. So he says goodbye, Darth. Also, there's a good thing that I saw, and this is a question I'm really asking myself. On the top of the head of Anakin, where he receives his shot, you can see a scar. But that scar was already there in Return of the Jedi. But was that scar visible at the beginning of the show? Or it's the famous scar that you see in Return of the Jedi? It's a huge gap. There's a hole on his head in Return of the Jedi, and you can see through the helmet that there's a new scar, or it's the same. But I don't know if it's the one. It's a new one, and it would give even more depth, profondeur. That was the word I was looking for earlier. So the scar, was wondering if it's the same one, or it's a new one, or whatever. There's also this question that I'm asking myself. Then Obi-Wan leaves, and Vader is hurt. Vader is blessé. Why doesn't he? Why? I think you can see in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, exactly. So perhaps it's not a new scar. That's really what I was wondering. Because it's not at the same. Yes, it's at the same side. Yes, it's on the same side. So something that I was wondering is, why didn't Vader follow Obi-Wan? He starts screaming his name like Obi-Wan. But you can afterwards Obi-Wan leaves and goes to Tatooine. Fait qu'on voit que Obi-Wan s'en va sur Tatooine après. Mais pourquoi Vader l'a pas suivi? Est-ce que c'est parce qu'il est trop blessé? Is he too hurt to move? He needs help to get out of there? I don't know. We don't really have this answer. But once again, I'm trying to understand perhaps too much stuff. Um, okay, so then Reva decides not to kill Luke because she sees himself in Luke. Blah blah blah. You know this. You know the drill. Um, but now I'm wondering one thing, because when Obi-Wan arrives and she puts Luke on the floor, on the ground. She cries and I couldn't do it. Blah blah blah. What I'm wondering is, are we having a new kind of Force user? Will she be back in a different show? Some people say that she might even have her own show, because now she's kind of a different character. She's not a Jedi. She died as a Jedi, and she died as a Sith. So she cannot be a gray Jedi like let's say Ahsoka. So I'm wondering, are we gonna have a new kind of middle class Force user that will not be a Sith Lord, a Sith, will not be an Inquisitor, will not be a Jedi? But since she touched both of the sides, and now she decided that none of them is right, well, it's kind of Rey did the same thing, but I don't know. I was wondering, perhaps there's something that she can use, that Disney will use there, some kind of a new Star Wars Force user. No, yeah, exactly. So Ahsoka never went to the dark side. So I think Reva is the first character that touches both grounds and decided to go back in the middle. She cannot come back and be a Jedi again. She cannot be a Sith because she's unable to do the Sith job. But she did so much bad that she won't be able to be in the Jedi Order or whatever. So we have kind of a new character. So I thought that was interesting. Isn't that the theory of Mace Purple's saber? Yeah, did you read the book of Mace Windu? There's a huge book that I've read a few years ago, and he uses a kind of different way to fight, but I don't think that he uses necessarily the dark side. But yeah, perhaps. But I mean, Mace did not really go to the dark side like Dooku did. So I don't know. Perhaps the one that was, no, I would say Qui-Gon, but not, even though Qui-Gon never went to the dark side either. So I know, for me, I think she's the first character that does this. Okay. It's a great book, by the way. If you like legend stuff, man, it was a really, really good book. He goes on a mission there, and you learn a lot more about his fighting style, which is more aggressive, much more fast. It's faster than other Jedi. Anyway, it's a great book. I don't remember I don't recall the title. Anyway, so we go back to Vader at his castle. He got his brand new, got his new helmet on, and he talks to the Emperor. Woohoo! Ian McDiarmid is back, ladies and gentlemen. So it's. I was really happy, and I was hoping to see the Emperor in this show. So I was really happy to see him, even if it was for a few minutes. And the great thing about the fact that we see him, he does exactly what the Emperor always did with Anakin. He plays with his mind. Donc c'est vraiment trippant de voir que encore avec Ian McDiarmid, that's back as the Emperor, qui revient avec l'Empereur, il fait exactement la même chose qu'il fait dans Revenge of the Sith, puis même avant. Il se sert de jouer avec la mentalité, avec les émotions à Vader. Il lui met toujours un doute. Donc ça, j'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant. I really thought it was great to see that the Emperor never stopped playing with his mind, with Anakin's mind, with Vader's mind. After that, we go back to Alderaan, and you can see that Leia learned a lot after this adventure. On voit maintenant que Leia vraiment elle a appris de cette aventure-là et puis qu'elle devient un peu plus he teased us with that. Oh yeah, he did. Oh wow, this is cool. I didn't know that. I did not watch the entire thing that he did at the IC. I have to watch it. I'm late in so many stuff that I have to watch, man. So now we can see that Leia has started to understand more his role, and she takes it more seriously. And even if she stands, she wants to do even more of the right thing. Donc on voit que Léa elle a grandi suite à cette aventure-là, tout ça, puis là, bon, elle sait pas, mais c'est Obi-Wan qui vient lui reporter Lola. Obi-Wan comes back and bring her back Lola and talk to her. And we've got this great, great, great moment between those two important characters. And I really think it brings more depth to their characters. And you understand even more the reaction of Carrie Fisher, of the princess, when Luke shows up at the Death Star and says, I'm here with Ben Kenobi. I'm here with Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're here to rescue you. And he says, you're with Obi-Wan Kenobi? So she knows who this guy is. So, fait que j'ai trouvé ça vraiment intéressant parce que je trouve que ça a donné énormément plus de profondeur aux deux personnages, puis ça rend la shot quand Luke arrive dans le Death Star pour sauver la princesse, puis il dit hey, j'étais avec Obi-Wan. Puis elle fait comme oh, t'es avec Obi-Wan, il est ici. C'est comme fuck man, on y va, let's go, tu sais. Raison de plus. I've been talking to you guys for an hour and a half. It's supposed to be 1 hour. I talk way too much, man. Okay. So that was an important part when they talk together. And Bale even says a little nod again to the next series that's coming up, Andor. He says the Empire is getting stronger, and they're getting more. What's the word that he uses? Yeah, it's stronger. I don't remember the other word that he used. Mais fait que c'est ça. Bale prépare même la prochaine série qui est Andor, qui dit que l'Empire est encore en train de devenir de plus en plus fort, de plus en plus méchante. Fait qu'on on va voir la suite. C'est sûr qu'il va être dans Andor. That's for sure that he'll be in the next series Andor. After that, you've got Obi-Wan that's back on Tatooine, and you realize that he doesn't have to look up, always check on Luke, that he knows that the Force will take care of Luke by itself. And if Luke needs him, in a way, he will still be there for him. He's not leaving Tatooine, but he doesn't have to be there and spy on him every day. Donc, Obi-Wan réalise qu'il peut recommencer à faire confiance à la Force dans le fond, puis il sait que Luke va être correct, puis que si jamais il arrive quoi que ce soit, la Force va faire qu'ils vont se retrouver, puis que Obi-Wan va être là. Fait que c'est ça, il refait confiance à la Force en réalité. Ensuite de ça, t'as la fameuse shot que enfin Owen offre pour la première fois à Obi-Wan de rencontrer Luke. So the first time that Owen offers Ben to meet Luke, and we've got that famous shot, the one that we were expecting. Hello there. So once again, it's a nod not only to Episode 3 when he fights Grievous, but it's a nod to the first line of Alex Guinness in Episode 4. Donc c'est la shot où est-ce que Luke finalement rencontre Obi-Wan et il dit hello there, pareil comme les premières paroles d'Alex Guinness dans l'épisode 4. Fait que il y a une chose que j'ai trouvé intéressante, c'est que j'avais un peu raison sur une chose. I was happy to see that I was right about one thing, is that the series would end with Qui-Gon for the first time showing up to showing up to Obi-Wan. Fait que j'avais raison sur ça parce que si vous vous souvenez, si vous avez écouté The Last Vintage Kids, j'avais dit probablement la série va finir avec Qui-Gon qui va apparaître à Obi-Wan, puis c'est en plein ce qui est arrivé. Et puis ce qui est intéressant aussi, c'est que ça explique la raison pourquoi Owen le traite de vieux fou qui se parle tout seul. Et puis il est reconnu pour ça justement dans les livres même que Kenobi se promène sur Tatooine puis il se parle tout seul. He's nuts. So it's a cool thing that it explains also what Owen says, that Obi-Wan is an old nuts guy. He's crazy and he talks to himself. And in the books, he is also known to be a crazy old fart that talks to himself. But in fact, he doesn't talk to himself. He talks with Qui-Gon. Il parle avec Qui-Gon Jinn. Fait que ça, c'est vraiment intéressant. Encore une fois, it's a nod. Once again, it's a nod to this, and it's really great what they're doing with putting more and more and more good explanation on everything. I love it. And it's also interesting to see that they prepare us to understand why Obi-Wan was not able to see Qui-Gon before. C'est intéressant parce qu'ils nous ont préparé, ils nous expliquaient déjà pourquoi que Obi-Wan n'était pas capable de voir Qui-Gon. C'est Quinlan Voss qui l'a écrit sur le mur. Quinlan Voss wrote on the wall, only with your eyes closed you will see the light. So it's a way to say that calm down, close your eyes, and you'll see. And this is exactly what Qui-Gon says. You weren't ready to see. Donc, c'est exactement ce que Qui-Gon explique à Obi-Wan. Il dit que t'étais pas encore prêt à voir. Mais c'est ce que Quinlan Voss avait marqué sur le mur. Guys, we've been talking for an hour and a half. I was hoping I would go through in an hour, but hey, great episode, great series. I hope that they'll do another one, but if they do another one, I hope that they'll make sure that it would be as good. I know that you cannot continue having like Obi-Wan fighting Vader all the time in all the other seasons, but there's something we can do with Luke. We can do with. I think there's more things to put with Obi-Wan and Luke as a kid, a mini adventure or something, where you don't necessarily have to put Vader in the story. You can be there. You can be doing something else, but not necessarily with Luke. And of course, he doesn't know Luke exists. So. Donc c'est ça. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this. Next week we'll go back to talk about toys and stuff. I was supposed to do this Kenobi thing only as a middle in between Vintage Kids, but time flies so fast. I did not have the time to do what I wanted to do. So this is why the two last Vintage Kids were about Kenobi series. Next week we'll be back with what we love, what we love to do and collect. Thank you, Jim. It's always fun. Like I said, again, I'm not here for the numbers. I'm here to have fun. I'm here having fun doing this. And that's it. This is why Yoda's Workshop exists. This is why I do this. It's to have fun with you guys. So, see you next week. Be good, be safe, be wild, be you. And see you tomorrow for you two guys. And we'll see everyone else next week. and this episode will also be on YouTube in the next hour. So feel free to share with your friends. If you guys you have friends that want to learn French, make them listen to this. So be safe, guys. Thank you very much once again. Merci tout le monde d'avoir écouté. Ça va être sur YouTube dans la prochaine heure. On se revoit la semaine prochaine. Thank you very much. Have a great week. Bye bye.